What's up, folks, and thank you for joining me on Mindset Tabletop. I'm Matt McCann, and today I'm excited to bring to you my first reactions to First Martians, Adventures on the Red Planet. Before we get into it, I'd like to ask that if you enjoy what you see on this channel, like and subscribe. It helps bump us up in the algorithm and will help me bring you better content in the future. So, First Martians. This is a follow-up to Ignacy Trzewiczek's Robinson Crusoe. If you're not familiar with Robinson Crusoe, you are stuck on a desert island. You have a limited amount of workers, next to no supplies, constant threats coming at you, and you have to survive until you accomplish a certain task. In First Martians here, we are not on a desert island. We are on Mars. So we have different systems in our hub that are shutting down. We have outside influences that are causing us trouble, and we have to go out and collect things, do research, and try and grow food so that we can feed our people and survive on the planet. So far, I am really, really impressed with this. To me, this game feels a little bit smoother and a little less daunting than Robinson Crusoe, but I'm not so sure that it tells as vivid of a story. I don't really feel Mars here the way I feel the island in Robinson Crusoe. Robinson Crusoe also has some very ridiculous, laugh-out-loud moments where things can be going fine for you in the game, and then all of a sudden you get just attacked by a cougar and you die. And it's horrible, and it's a bummer because the game is over, but you can't stop laughing. First Martians here has a more serious tone. It's not so funny, it's not so lighthearted, it's not so happy, but it doesn't have to be. Well, happy is the wrong word. Robinson Crusoe certainly is not happy. You're dealing with a lot of the same things here, though. You are trying to survive with keeping your farm alive and your food. You're trying to collect different spare parts to fix your systems that are shutting down, because at the end of the mission, if you have too many shut down systems, you lose. Each different scenario, you are attacking a few different objectives. Those objectives will bring you to your final goal. This last scenario that I played is a guessing game. This is about a supply pod getting hit on its way to landing, and it scattered the parts out on Mars, and we have to go find them, get the food, plant the seeds so that we have food in time to survive. So that's the situation here. There are different situations, though. I've played 3 scenarios in Robinson Crusoe and 3 in this one now, and they are very, very, very different. I am finding that this game feels a little more free to me. So let's get down to the workers. The workers themselves. This is a worker placement game. So, in Robinson Crusoe, you have, your main characters. They each have 2 workers, just like this. These little lozenges represent your workers. So you can place these on different objectives to take care of things. Here we've got a quiet place to rest. This gives us these determination tokens, which allow us to use our special abilities. We can unwind here, which gives us either heals us or gives us morale. We have a med lab where we can actually heal wounds and cure conditions. We have a control center where we manage these system overloads. This is the main ongoing threat of the game. And every round, these systems are going to get hit, and we are going to have to deal with more and more problems. Every time this gets to the top, you flip over a card, you add another die to the roll at the end of the round, and you keep exponentially increasing your problems as you go through the game. We have similar dice to Robinson Crusoe. These dice are basically like success dice. One of them will determine whether you succeed or not. That's this one. The one with the question mark on it will determine whether you have an adventure. Now, the difference here between Robinson Crusoe and Red Planet is the adventures are done through the app. So this is an app-driven game, which allows it to actually be a little bit more specific with what's going on in the plot. But for some reason, it still doesn't come through quite as vivid as getting attacked by a cougar. Now, This third die actually decides whether you take damage or not. So every time you do an action and you use one worker to do the average action, you can do it, but you have to roll the dice for the risk. If you use 2 workers for that action, you then don't have to roll the dice and it's a guarantee. But it is very expensive to use extra workers because workers are scarce. Now in this game, they are less scarce than in Robinson Crusoe. In Robinson Crusoe, you have your 2 main workers, then you have Friday, maybe, and you have the dog when I think you're playing solo. Everybody gets their 2 workers, so the more players you have playing, I think the easier it gets. But in this game, not only do you have your 2 workers, and then you have helpers like Friday and the dog, but you also have these AOMs which can take on jobs on their own by themselves. Now, whoever sends out that AOM is going to take the penalties if there's damage or if there's a failure or if there's an adventure. But still, these things can do jobs on their own. In the solo game, you can use 2 every turn of your choice. In a multiplayer game, everybody gets 1. So these are assigned to one specific action and they can only do that one action, but they are free to do it on their own. In Robinson Crusoe, I don't think that there are many. It's only Friday, I think, that can do a job on his own. And the extra workers that you get through acquiring them from the board, they can only assist. So this game gives you a little bit more freedom with the addition of these AOMs. The vehicles, which are kind of like Friday and the dog, actually, you have the Scorpio here who can aid with any job. And then you have my little broken Froggy here. And Froggy adds 2 workers, but only for exploration. I really, really like the balance of this, especially in the solo mode. And I think, let me just say at this moment, that both of these games, Robinson Crusoe and First Martians, are primarily solo games. You can co-op them, and they're a little bit easier in co-op, but the solo experience, I think, is where it's at here. If you're a solo gamer, these games are fantastic. And I think First Martians has a lot of improvements. Thematically, it's not as strong, but mechanically, I think it's even stronger. There are a lot of fun things going on, making repairs, using these spare parts to do repairs. The multi-step penalties that happen here, different types of things like re-rolls, or you can't do it on this round, or it takes an extra worker, or if you do it, you get an adventure. These give you a little bit warning for one round, and then the next round they're enacted, so you know what you're facing the next round. And another similarity between this game and Robinson Crusoe are these events. These events happen every round, and when you start an event, you can place a worker there, and it will give you a certain benefit, and it will prevent consequences. You don't know what these consequences are going to be. So in Robinson Crusoe, it's done on cards, and you have the cards and it moves to one space, then it moves to another space, and then if you don't take care of it, you get a negative effect and you see what it is. The negative effects here are a mystery, and you don't know when they're going to hit. It could last up to 3 rounds, or it could blow the next round, and you don't know. So that is a little bit scarier in this game. There's a little bit more incentive to take care of these things on time and take care of them right away because you don't know what's going to happen. And it's all in the app, so you can't even see it on cards or anything like that. I am very, very impressed with First Martians. I'm loving it at least just as much as Robinson Crusoe, but for different reasons. I think this game is mechanically more fun and a little less stressful. Robinson Crusoe is a little more brain-burny and far more thematic. But they are both great games. I am glad I own them both. This is not a one or the other kind of thing. They're definitely distinct enough to be a totally different feeling game. while working in a familiar system. I love it. I'm very, very happy with First Martians, and I'm excited to see what the rest of the scenarios hold. I know that they are going to be super hard, especially landing. I am not looking forward to that, but I kind of am too. So let me know what you think, folks. Have you played these games? Have you played one or the other? Do you prefer one to the other? Leave a comment down below and let me know what you think. And if you have any questions about these games, I will be very, very happy to answer any questions that I can and engage in a conversation with you. I want to keep in contact with you folks. I want us to be talking all the time. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. Like and subscribe if you can, and have a great, great day. Thank you.